Hey everyone, welcome. Sometimes you hear a story that just sticks with you. Today, we're diving into one of those, a timeless tale about friendship and what true value really means. It's called The Divine Measure of Two Handfuls of Rice.
So let's start with a big question. One I want you to kind of keep in the back of your mind as we go. Can two handfuls of rice, just two, actually change someone's entire destiny? I mean, forever? Sounds a little crazy, right? Maybe even impossible. But, well, this incredible story might just change your mind. All right, so our story kicks off way back with this unbreakable bond forged when two friends were just kids. Let me introduce you to our main characters, Krishna and Sudama. And when I say they were inseparable, I mean it. They were the kind of friends who did everything together, studying, laughing, and sharing every single thing they had. No questions asked. And right here, this is a moment you really have to pay attention to. It's so simple, so innocent, just a young Sudama looking at his friend. But the promise they make, wow, it becomes the absolute emotional core of this entire story. It's this vow, to stay connected no matter what life throws at them. But you know how it goes. Life happens. And boy, did it have other plans for them. As the years rolled by, time and fate just pulled these two friends down completely different paths. And that childhood promise they made, it was about to face the ultimate test.
And we're not talking a small difference here. It was dramatic. On one hand, you've got Krishna. He becomes the powerful king of Dwarka. We're talking a grand palace, riches, everything you can imagine. And then there's Sudama. He's a humble scholar, living in a tiny little hut, literally struggling to put food on the table for his family. The gap between their lives, it was just immense.
So it's at this really low point that Sudama's wife steps in and basically sets the whole story in motion. She sees her kids are hungry and she asks him something that seems so simple on the surface. But for Sudama, man, this was tough. Think about it. How could he, in his worn-out clothes, just show up at a king's palace, empty-handed no less, and ask for help? The thought was probably paralyzing.
And that question, that dilemma, it leads us to maybe the most important part of the whole story, the gift. This is where something so incredibly simple, so humble, a little bit of puffed rice, becomes this powerful symbol of pure, unconditional love.
So, after wrestling with it for a while, Sudama finally agrees to go. His wife, she goes and gathers the only thing they have to offer as a gift for a king. In the amount, it was just two
handfuls of puffed rice, poha, as it's known. And it was just tied up in a little scrap of worn-out cloth. That's it. That was everything he had in the entire world to give to his best, oldest friend.
And this really gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? It shows us that the true value of a gift, it has nothing to do with the price tag. It's all about the intention, right? The sacrifice, the love that's poured into it. And that little bundle of rice, it was proof of that very truth.
Okay, so here we go. We're at the emotional peak of the story now. Picture this. Sudama, probably feeling so small and completely out of place, finally arrives at the massive palace gates. This is it, the moment of reunion. And it's the moment that's going to prove once and for all that their friendship was never, ever about status or money. And across this huge, grand courtyard, King Krishna looks up, and he sees his friend. And in that split second, all the years apart, all the differences in their lives, the palace, the hut, it all just melts away. Krishna didn't see a poor man.
He didn't see some subject or a stranger at his gate. He saw his brother.
So what does the king do? Does he send a guard? No way. He throws his royal status right out the window. The throne, the crown, none of it mattered. He ran, barefoot, across the palace grounds to throw his arms around Sudama. And then he brings him inside and, with his own hands, washes his friend's tired, dusty feet. I mean, can you imagine a more profound act of love and humility?
And that beautiful reunion brings us to the final and, frankly, miraculous part of this story. We're calling it the measure of true wealth. Because this is where the real lesson sinks in, not because of something someone says, but because of a silent, almost divine act. And really, this gets to the very soul of their friendship. Sudama, even though he was desperate, he had too much love, too much self-respect to ask for a handout. He didn't come for money, he just came to see his friend. And Krishna, well, His love was so deep that he understood everything without a single word ever being said.
So here's how the miracle actually happens. It's like a divine transaction. Step 1 is the offering. Krishna takes that small bundle of puffed rice, and he eats a handful with absolute joy, telling Sudama it's better than any fancy food in his entire palace. And then, step 2, the reward. In that exact same moment, miles and miles away, Sudama's little hut is transformed into a beautiful home, filled with everything his family could ever possibly need.
So what's the big lesson here? What are we supposed to take away from all this? Well, the story gives us this incredibly powerful definition of what true friendship really is. It's got nothing to do with how much money you have or what your title is. It's about a connection that's measured by something totally different, the purity of your heart and that deep, unspoken understanding.
And that leaves us with one last question to think about. Because really, this story isn't just about Krishna and Sudama, is it? It's a lesson for all of us. So I'll ask you, what is the rice that you have to offer? What is that small, humble gift you can give purely from the heart that's actually worth more than all the riches in the world?
If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Comment below. Radhe Radhe.